Coming off a 4-fight win streak, Mona Kimura was gearing up to light it up at the Tokyo K1 Arena on September 12th. Now here's the thing, everybody, and I mean everybody, had her penciled in against the reigning champ. Then K1 officials went and flipped the whole script on us. Her actual opponent? The 28-year-old Swiss veteran Marian Nicole. And honestly, this last-minute swap just tossed every single pre-fight prediction straight into the garbage. Because think about it, the original matchup was supposed to be a bloody, knockdown, drag-out brawl against a heavy hitter. But what Mona's walking into now, that's a completely different animal. This is a slow, maddening, teeth-grinding game of distance management. And I gotta be honest, that might be the tougher fight. So let's actually look at who we're dealing with here. 28 years old, 25 wins, 6 losses. And here's the part that made me do a double take. Out of those 25 wins, exactly 1 came by knockout. 1. But don't go writing her off as some journeyman veteran here just to cash a check. Her real ace in the hole? She's the 2021 World Savate Champion. If you're not familiar, Savade's this striking art that came right out of the streets of 19th century France. It's a hard sport, but the whole style is built around landing precise, almost fencing-like strikes with the toe of the shoe. Hit and get out. Never plant your feet and trade. That, right there, is Marian Nicole's entire survival philosophy, which means she is absolutely not going to be dumb enough to charge forward into Mona's firing line. And that's a massive problem for Mona, because we all know how she stacked up those 4 wins. Elite counter-striking. Plain and simple. That lead-high sidekick of hers is basically a premium set of block pads. The second an opponent rushes in, she snaps that kick out and just stops their momentum dead. Then, the moment they hesitate, their guard cracks open. And boom! Mona's straight rear hand lands with sniper precision right on the chin. That's the exact recipe she used to KO her opponent in her pro debut. But, and this is a big but, there's a fatal flaw in that whole game plan. The opponent actually has to attack for it to work. And Nicole? She is never going to bring the fight to Mona. She's going to lock herself into that safe zone, circling just outside the range of Mona's kicks. Her tactics are transparent, almost insultingly so. Peck with the jab, chop the legs with low kicks, then slide right back out of danger. So if Mona just stands there in the pocket waiting to counter, this fight's over before the opening bell even stops ringing. Nicole could steal the whole thing over 9 minutes just by piling up those little nothing points. And when that happens, doesn't matter how scary Mona's right hand is if she's just out there punching air all night. And here's where it gets spicy. These two have actually sparred before, privately. And Mona? She publicly clowned Nicole, called her a knockoff, straight up said, "I will never lose to an imitator." Yeah, so there's real bad blood here. And you better believe Nicole's going to use those Savate kicks to try and dismantle Mona's whole foundation in that ring. There's some genuine biomechanics at play too, and this is where it gets interesting. Your classic Muay Thai roundhouse needs hip rotation to generate power. It's devastating, but it's got a long wind-up. Nicole's Savate Fouette kick is a totally different beast. It fires off a rapid snap of the knee, leg out in something like a 1/10 of a second. She's going to use those lightning-quick low kicks to hack away at Mona's lead leg like an axe going at a tree. And here's why that matters. The penetrating power behind a heavy punch? It all comes from ground support in the lower body. Once Mona's lead leg swells up and the nerves go numb, she can't plant her feet on the canvas anymore. And once that base is wrecked, her pride and joy, that straight right loses most of its bite, turns into a harmless little blank. But, and I love this part, Nicole's whole point fighting style runs into one physical problem it can't dodge: a 9 centimeter height disadvantage. Nicole's only 157 centimeters. Mona stands at 166. And inside that ring, those 9 centimeters are a canyon. If Nicole wants to tag Mona with that toe, she's got to take an extra big step in. And that step walks her right into the interception net. Mona's long side kicks have already set up. So this is where I think Mona's entire game plan has to get torn down and rebuilt. She can't be a stationary sniper anymore. She's got to become a hunter. No retreating. She's got to apply constant active pressure and cut off the ring. Every time Nicole tries to slide sideways and slip away, Mona needs to step in early and trap her in that corner. And during all that chasing, the sidekick can't just be a shield anymore. It's got to be a weapon. She needs to drill Nicole right in the ribs and the gut, draining her gas tank until those legs get too heavy to keep running. But here's the brutal backwards part about this whole thing. Nicole's margin for error on her kicks is enormous. She can whiff 10 times in a row and it doesn't matter, as long as she keeps circling out there on the outside. Mona's margin? Razor thin. To land that one big punch, she has to voluntarily step into Nicole's low kick minefield and gamble with the health of her own legs. That's a rough trade. But luckily, Mona's got 2 aces up her sleeve. First one, when Nicole defends and moves, she never moves her head. It stays at the exact same height every single time. And for someone with real boxing training like Mona, that's a sitting duck, just parked there, waiting. Second ace, the K1 judging criteria. And this is huge. This is Nicole's K1 debut. Over here, the judges do not care how many times you tickle your opponent with soft little shots. They're looking for substantial, fight-ending damage. So Nicole can land 5 light taps, doesn't matter. If Mona eats them, pushes through, and lands one devastating shot that wrecks Nicole's balance, the judges hand her that round without blinking. And here's the kicker. Once Nicole, who lives and breathes this point game, gets backed into a corner, her own muscle memory turns on her. In a lot of traditional bouts, get pressured, you can just clinch and stall. But under K1's rules, the refs aren't having it. And that right there is Mona's knockout window. She's showing it already. Another beautiful side kick. The exact second Nicole's back hits the ropes, and she's scrambling with nowhere left to go. That guard's gonna crack open just so she can stay balanced. And Mona won't even need a fancy feint. All she's gotta do is lock onto that half second where Nicole lifts her leg and her head freezes, and let that straight rear hand go, the one she's been sitting on the whole fight, right into Marian Nicole's chin. Man, I cannot wait for this one. September 12th, Tokyo. So what's it gonna be? Does the Swiss veteran torture the challenger to death with Savate point fighting? Or does Mona eat the damage and blow up Nicole's K1 debut with one giant right hand? Drop your take in the comments. I really want to hear which way you think this thing goes.